And welcome back to Area DMG. I am your host, Philip Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and we're going to talk about the weapons of war. Well, actually, we're going to talk about the touchscreens. On the two major handhelds, there's the Nintendo 3DS, which has a resistive touchscreen. Resistive, of course, means that when you're using the touchscreen, the pressure on the screen is how it detects what you're doing. The 3DS has one resistive touchscreen. In other words, pressure. Now the Vita has two capacitive touchscreens. Capacitive uses it lets you use the static on your fingers or certain other objects to do that. So yeah, other styluses, resistive styluses will not work, so you need specific kinds of styluses that are capacitive enabled. For example, the Vita has two touchscreens, a capacitive touchscreen on the front and capacitive touchscreen on the rear. So you can move stuff on it, like for example in the browser, with the rear. And we can do this by... there's like a current on there. It needs a specific kind of like this is kind of rubber. Certain types of materials block the touch capacitors. I don't know. That capacitive is kind of a little weird. To be perfectly honest, I don't find capacitive as accurate as resistive when it comes to certain types of art stuff. But yeah, let's get into the weapons of war. What are we doing? What are we doing over here? We have a ton of different styluses. The Nintendo DS has had several different things and several different types of styluses. The original prototypes for the Nintendo DS were silver or other colors with a bright black inside line. And the styluses that they were using at E3, the year that it was shown off, which would be 2004, they were equipped with this stylus. This is a stylus that I'm not actually supposed to have. It's from the prototype ones. It goes in the top of the prototypes, which was covered by a little locking thing so you couldn't take the stylus. But they would hand you the stylus for use, and you had to give it back. And, well, stuff happens. I ended up with the stylus. This is the DS prototype stylus. Got it? Now, the actual DS launched with this stylus. What I think is kind of horrible is that the stylus is actually much smaller than the prototype stylus. And these styluses, they went on the top of the DS. And, as you can see, they're just... let's make sure the focus is working well on this. But yeah, you can see that. That's a tiny little stylus. There was also a pink version of that came out with the, if you registered Kirby's Canvas curse. Anyways, yeah, this was that stylus. So you've got the prototype, the original, and then the DS Lite came around. Much larger stylus. Then the DSi. And then the DSi XL. The 3DS, whoops, just dropped that prototype one, and the 3DS XL. Oi. Again, here are the styluses from a prototype. Final first version, Lite, DSi, DSi XL, 3DS, 3DS XL. The DSi XL also came with this nice little pin stylus. Now, one thing to know about styluses is that, well, styluses or Stylii, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of the thickness and the length is actually beneficial for certain types of programs. For example, Art Academy on the 3DS. Now, when you're playing with a stylus, these smaller ones are actually kind of a little difficult to use. So you'd have to go buy different stylus. Out of these styluses, if people were wondering what the longest stylus is that is attached to the DS or any of its incarnations. The original 3DS stylus is the longest included stylus that fits in the system. Doesn't fit in the 3DS XL, but yeah. I kind of wish that this were a retractable one because, yeah, I rather liked what they did with this. The retractable styluses for the original 3DS were some of their better ones. Now, Nintendo is not the first people to have a touch screen on their handheld. Tiger actually had them beat by, this is the Tiger Game.com stylus. This is the Game.com stylus, and this is the Game.com Pocket Pro stylus. They're kind of thin. Both of them are actually quite bigger than the Nintendo styluses. In fact, the Tiger stylus for the Game.com is pretty comfortable. It's got like a little grip here, so you have a little bit of accuracy. If you're one of those people who does a lot of stuff with Flip Note, Swap Note, PictoChat, Colors 3D, Inchworm Animation, or what's the other one? Art Academy, you kind of want to get a separate stylus. In fact, I actually recommend hunting down the Game.com, particularly for the stylus. You can use both edges of it. They're not ridiculously sharp. It's a reasonable size, and it's easy to use. Oh, the original DS also came with this bad idea. You can still order this from Nintendo, and what it is it's a thumb pad. You see, with Mario 64, which was a launch title for the DS, you could use the touchscreen as an alternate way to play, like an analog stick. And what they would do is you would loop this into one of the cell phone strap areas of the DS, and then you would use this thing on your thumb and just play it like that. Some people say it worked pretty well. I think it's pretty good if you're using, like, say, with Colors 3D or Art Academy. If you're using the chalks, you can just pop it on like this. There you go. You can pop it on like this and yeah. There's different styluses you can get. Some games included these weird styluses, like these pick styluses are really good for jam sessions 2, and then of course the Guitar Hero stuff that it was originally made for. I also use these if I'm using the chalks on Art Academy, because they simulate how you do that. Like, oh, I'm using graphite pencils here. Okay, like that. Now, this is a stylus that came for I think Kappa. What is that first one? Oh, Phantom Hourglass. This is the special edition Phantom Hourglass one. It's classy. It's nice. It's kind of fragile feeling. It has no weight to it. This is the one that came with Adventure Time. It's a sword. It's actually pretty great for like action figures. And this is one that was, hey, you played the Mario Kart demo over at E3. Here's a Mario Kart stylus. This stylus kind of reminds me of the styluses that come with that you can buy for like Pokemon, or the ones that have these little things on the top. There's a lot like this. There's Skylander ones that are like this, and I think they're just kind of silly and cheap. There's also styluses that are shaped like lightsabers, or the Doctor's screwdriver from Doctor Who. And then there's these types of styluses like Pokemon on it. There's been a lot of different styluses like that. I actually kind of like these Nerf ones. You have a little bit more to they're a little bit flexible, and you have a little bit of a grip to it. Gripping these is good. Like, for example, I do a lot, if I'm using a lot of the art program stuff, you want a good grip. It's more like an actual pencil. This is a third-party extendable. Pretty decent. You can loop it to it and attach it. some of these, this one over here is actually from a Palm Pilot. It's nice. And then I've got another one over here that these actually have a little bit of weight to them, which actually works out pretty well in my favor. When you're because the heavier the stylus, the more of response time you have, especially in some games like, say, Fuel the Magic or Elite Beat Agents. Now this one, there's a company that makes this bendable stylus. Overall, I never really saw the point of these. They're okay. It got a lot of I guess you could say exposure on the blog forums, or rather the blogs and Tumblr and all that stuff, because it's kind of neat, and they gave these away to a lot of people. Overall, it's a good stylus. It's okay. Then there's these thick pin styluses that BD&A makes, as well as and they sometimes include these there with different graphics and stuff. It's clickable, which I don't understand the point of that. That's kind of dumb. And here's another Palm Pilot stylus. This one's really thin, not that good for this. Capacitive touch styluses will work on that. This is one of those capacitive touch styluses almost everybody has for their phone or their iPad laying around somewhere. It's okay, it's stiff, it's hollow, has no weight to it, actually feels kind of horribly cheap. And then, if you can find one of these at a discount place or in a thrift store or something, pick it up. Oh my gosh, this is a Nook stylus. There's a small magnet in here, so on some stuff like the Nook, you can just pop it up on there, or on an iPad it'll stay put where you have the little the cover. Now it's got a little loop here, so you can attach it to something or put it in a notebook or whatnot. But the thing itself, okay, you want a comfortable grip, because like everyone holds their pen or their pencil a different way. I used to have these little things to help me try and hold the pencil correctly, because there's a way that you're supposed to hold it, and then there's like myself when I was drawing, I'd do this, and you're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to actually put it like this. But I would just do, because I would draw like this. Now, capacitive touchscreen stuff, it's good on a system like the Vita, but it's kind of useless on a DS system. My favorite stylus actually of all time, pretty much, is this one here that came with scribble knots. If we can find somebody who's willing to part with this thing separately, by all means. The game is, I've gotten to play it. It's kind of, it's okay if you're into scribble knots, but this stylus is power. It's like a pencil. It's actually hollow inside, and this top part came off a while back, so I had to put a little dab of super glue on the inside here and just pop that down. But this is the stylus for using drawing. This one, and where is that other one? This one, and then where's this one's pretty good. You just want a stylus that works with how you play a game. If you do a lot of art stuff, track down one of these. They're really great. Track down one of these. The only other way to get it, unless you know somebody, is to buy like the Scribblenauts Unlimited edition, which is going for like $90 on eBay now. But yeah, this stylus is awesome. There's another stylus that was made specifically to commemorate Epic Mickey that looks like a big paintbrush, and that one's a little tough to find, but well, good luck. Now, when they announced the DS at 2004, they had this thing. It was like the future of handheld gaming. It's a keychain, but it's also a stylus. Now, what's weird about this stylus is I would actually not recommend using this on your DS or any device for that matter, because at this point in time, it has a really, really sharp point. In fact, it's got a really sharp point, and that's because I guess you could wear it down. In fact, you can replace the point. It's a weird stylus because you can replace the point, adjust the point, you can replace the light in it, and the batteries. It takes 3 of these little button batteries, and it does this. And that. This is, to me, this is a sonic stylus, ladies and gentlemen. When I'm just chilling with my, in my TARDIS playing the 3DS, this does everything but make wonderful noises. I mean, this thing was given out if you stayed in the line, or if you were like me and you were press, you were like, hey, I need to take a look at the Nintendo DS for this. Okay, cool, here's the line for press, and then you skip the stupid 3-hour long line. Yeah! Anyways, yeah, this was for 2004. They gave these out, and it's... You'll see these sometimes show up on eBay, and they can, if you can get it nice and cheap, that's good. But chances are, most of what you'll see on eBay is kind of pricey. Now, these are the weapons of war, or rather the weapons of, well, stylus stuff. Now, if you're playing a first-person shooter on the 3DS or the DS, most of them have, like for example, Metroid Prime Hunters has on-screen controls. You have to use, I would actually suggest getting one of these specifically for that. And yeah, but if you're like me and you do a lot of art or creative stuff or rhythm games, you want a larger stylus like one of these. You don't really need a lot of accuracy on rhythm games and such, but you do want something that's got a reasonable soft tip and isn't too heavy to fatigue your hand, and isn't too light, because too light stuff you can tap too hard with it. I recommend for younger children stuff, you want to get one of these Nerf styluses, because it's Nerf or nothing on those. And one, they're fairly flexible, and you can attach a cell phone charm to it and such. And these are just good styluses for children. Other stuff like these longer styluses are pretty good for like I mentioned with Art Academy, because if I'm using a brush, this actually helps simulate that a little bit better. But yeah, these are the weapons of war. These are the styluses. Again, the best stylus that was included with one of these was this retractable one. This was pretty sweet. I thought Nintendo did a great job when they added that as a design. I just wish that when they went to 3DS XL, when they improved other stuff about the system, I wish that this had been retractable like that. But that's just the way it is. I would have to say that going from this tiny stylus to something like the Nintendo 3DS XL stylus or the 3DS stylus, it makes a difference. On many of these games, you're going to want to be further away from the screen, especially if it's a game like Art Academy or PictoChat or Flipnote Studios or the Miiverse or Inchworm Animation or Colors 3D, all of which are great, by the way. If you're one of those people who, like me, you enjoy the sequencing stuff, like let's say you've got Electroplankton or Jam with the Band, Daigatsu Band Brothers, or any of the Korg stuff. Actually, this is pretty good because, like I said, this one's lighted. So if you're out there, like, you can track it a little bit easier. Also, it looks pretty cool. I can use this to be like, It's just for like, yeah. I just really enjoy collecting these. The ones I usually carry around with me are this one, because with the art programs on the 3DS, perfect. Now, if you're a fan of colors on the Vita, because there is a colors software on the Vita, and then there's Paint Park, you do want to look around and pick up one of these styluses. This stylus for the Nook is quite frankly one of the best. This is the best capacitive stylus I have seen outside of, well, let's see, Wacom tablets come with their own styluses, but those are specialized to that particular stylus, and while they would work on something that's good, they don't have any advantage on a resistive touchscreen, and they don't really have an advantage on a capacitive touchscreen. This is the best stylus for your Vita. It's for the Nook, and it's actually pretty great. Now, your best stylus bet for your Nintendo 3DS or 3DS XL, go get the DSi XL styluses. These are, in a pinch, these are pretty good. If you're like me and you go for artistic stuff, you want this one because it's pretty good. It's also kind of indented, and you can hold it a bit like you're supposed to hold a pencil. Or this one, which you can hold exactly like a pencil, because look at this thing, that's really what it is. If you're one of those people who likes to run around pretending you're Doctor Who, yeah, this is the Nintendo E3 2004 stylus. It glows blue, has 3 different settings, takes 3 little button batteries, and it's pretty darn classy. But yeah, that's our thing. That's our video about styluses. Good night.